your favorite mob wife, Renee Graziano. And this is The Real in Reality with Renee Graziano. Today, I have one of my favorite people on earth, Jacklyn Lewin, who in May of 20, correct? Saved my life. I opened up my phone one day and I was like, we got clean together back in 16. Right. So I opened up my phone and I'm like, damn, this bitch, I wish she was closer. And it just so happened I text her and she's like, I'm in New Jersey. And it was like 7:30 in the morning. I packed my car and I don't think I went home for like a month. And she introduced me to wonderful people, wonderful girls in recovery, which Jackie knows I'm like was very anti-female. And they were all so supportive. And she now is at RBHN, and I'm going to let her explain what those initials stand for. She is a huge advocate for recovery. She has a story that is more precious than gold. It is a story like you have never heard before. So here is my sober sister and my sober coach, Jackie.
Hi. Yeah, so RBHN, it stands for Recreate Behavioral Health Network. We have facilities in Florida, New Jersey, and we just opened up in Long Island. Our facilities in Florida, we have a detox, a medical detox. We have a residential and PHP program in Palm Beach County. And then we have our PHP and IOP in New Jersey and North Jersey, and then the outpatient up in Long Island. So great program. We have the levels of care as we do because of the process of not only getting off drugs and alcohol, but stepping into recovery and, going through the phases. Instead of just going into a treatment center, we have levels of care.
So mental health
And substance abuse.
Okay, great. So Jackie, I love your story because I find it to be one of triumph. So would you share a little bit about it?
Yeah. I was struggling with addiction for a very long time. I grew up around it. My mom was an alcoholic who is now sober, thank God. And my sister was an addict at a very young age. She was diagnosed with Crohn's disease and had it really bad. So she was diagnosed at 7 and was in and out of the hospital. And, the doctors back then prescribed painkillers, opiates, really strong ones. And, being around it, at a young age, I didn't want anything to do with it. I was like, I would never touch those, watching her abuse them, watching her just go through the process of the withdrawal and the hospitalizations, and then graduating on to heroin and IV drug use, and I just didn't want any part of it. I didn't know how to deal with it at a young age. The way that I did was I would just go out and party. I played soccer my whole life. I had older friends, so I would just go out and drink and smoke pot and live it up. Me and my mom didn't get along from, a young age. She was an alcoholic. We would get in verbal and physical arguments. The first time I went to treatment, I was 22 years old. And eventually I did pick up the opiates. I was in a relationship with someone and we just started using them recreationally, and then they got addicting. And so the first time I went to treatment, it was, no big thing. I was excited to be there. I was like, finally, I can put this behind me. But I really had no idea what it took to get sober and to stay sober. Couldn't look, inside myself. I didn't understand, these spiritual awakenings. I got with a 12-step program, but I didn't really get with a 12-step program. I didn't really do the work. So I found myself in a few treatment centers after that. I did have like, and I did have like little points of sobriety, but then I would just go back to it, and think, oh, like this time will be different, or like I can, drink, and if I just drink, I won't go back to the pills. It won't be like that this time, and every time it would get worse and worse. So finally, at 24 years old, I went to another treatment center, and I stayed clean for a couple years, and I started working in treatment. I was working in a detox. I got a lot of experience with how that process works, and being there for people who are going through it. That's like the hardest part. And so, I was good, and then I made the decision to go to South America.
Okay.
And
She is dead fucking serious when she said she went to South America, the Amazon jungle.
yeah, I wanted a spiritual awakening, and I didn't know how to find it. And I was watching all these like videos, and like my boyfriend at the time had went and gotten clean down in Peru. So I was like, all right, I'm going to give it a try. And I did. And I went to a retreat center in Ecuador. I lived in the mountains for 5 weeks and drank ayahuasca, and
I keep
had
calling
a
it ayahuasca.
yeah, with a shaman, and heal me, and I learned a lot about myself. I had never traveled out of the country. It was amazing. I was actually the only person who had addiction problems that
Ooh,
was there. This was back in 2014. So like now it's used a lot more for healing
right.
addiction and stuff. But back then it was like people just went for different reasons, like whether it was depression, or like
Mhm.
this one girl had a seizure disorder and she wanted to get off her medication. Traumatic people had traumatic events happen to them in their life, and they were searching, and
And
that's what
they
I'd been
grew
doing.
it up, right? Isn't that the process? You drink this root and then you
Yep.
throw up your life.
Yeah. So it's a purge, and what they believe is that through drinking the medicine, is what they call it, you will clean out your system, and get
I'm
rid of.
bottling it. You can buy it right down the block on Rodeo Drive. If it was, I'm telling you, it's something I do want to do. They say you have to be very prepared for it. It
You,
could work against you, or it could heal, or it.
well, it can never work against you, right? So it,
Well, if
it can
it
be a
brings
very,
up things that you're not prepared for, that would be me.
yes. Yeah, and that was me too. I had a very terrifying experience, and mostly everyone there did as well. So at first it's very terrifying, and all of that stuff is brought up to the surface. You're
Oh,
very vulnerable in the moment. You're connecting with this like higher consciousness and self. And so it's very terrifying at first, and you purge a lot, and you go to the bathroom a lot, and it was very beautiful experience. And then I came back, and then I went back again
mm.
to Colombia, and that's when I lived in the Amazon jungle with a tribe for 6 weeks
A
and
tribe.
continued. I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean there's no toilets? What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean I have to dig a hole over there? Like
We
I
usually
was
dig
like,
holes for bodies. Holy shit. I always have to make a joke. It's just me.
yeah, I know it. So like that's what it was, and it was
Oh,
bathing
wow.
in the Amazon. You live off the land. I get off the boat, and I'm like, oh, we're here. They're like, no, we're not. 5 miles deep into the jungle,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
again, just the whole experience. Like I was not brought up that way. I was brought up with, you want it, you got it. Like
Right.
here it is. Like
Right.
whatever we needed, we got, and we
It's
weren't
called
like wealthy or
SRBS,
rich.
spoil rotten brat syndrome.
That's right.
Yeah, I suffer
I,
from that.
I do too, and I was a lot worse when I was younger, but like still working on it.
Right.
Right. So yeah, that was a crazy experience, and it was terrifying, and the medicine was stronger in the jungle, but again,
Mm.
very, very beautiful, and I'm very grateful that I had that experience.
So how
Did I?
much clean time did it actually give you, or did it give you any?
So I was like 5 years clean when I did
Oh,
it.
Wow.
And then I had relapsed like a year and a half after I left there. I came back with no program. You know, I came back with like Palo Santo wood and like sword and like a machete. And they're like, if anything, you know, that's how you fight off your demons. And I was like,
wow.
I remember one time I like was driving in my car and I was like lighting the Palo Santo wood like all around me to like clear the air. And like I got pulled over and the police officer thought I was smoking crack in the car.
Be like, no, I
And I was
got
like,
this machete and this wood. And they told, you know, it's funny because in the Bible, it says, sell your purse to buy a sword. So it's kind of weird that it's a different ritual, obviously, but the same meaning is the sword will save your life.
You fight it off. You fight off the demons. You fight off the, you know, you have to be aware of what I learned there was like that I had to be aware of the devil. And I would say it like that, you know, the bad thoughts, the negative energy, the things that I was allowing in my life, because I was in a toxic relationship when I went into the jungle. And I went into the jungle with that toxic person.
So can you tell me, after experiencing all of that, I know you lost your sister, and I know, because we used to call her on the phone, and I know that was so heartbreaking, and I know that definitely was cause and effect for a relapse, but also the loss of your boyfriend, which it's over a year now.
Yeah. It's it'll be 2 years in August.
Oh, wow.
So it's about a year and a half. And yeah, so when my sister's name was Jessica, when she passed away, you know, we were very close. Like she was 4 years younger. I was the bigger sister. Always looked out for her. You know, she always like looked up to me. I was like her biggest fan. She was my biggest fan. I was like her she just wanted to be like me, and like, you know, we were so close.
Beautiful spirit.
And so beautiful. She was amazing. She was 4'11" and like just fire, you know, just a spark.
We would call her and just laugh. Just constantly laugh in the car.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was awesome. You know, and I'm so grateful that I can like, and I am so grateful that I still feel her spirit and like I can laugh, you know, because it was it was the hardest thing I ever had to go through in my life. I, you know, right when I had about 3 months sober when she passed away, and I relapsed right after, like the day after her service. And I just went on a vicious run for like 3 years or 2.5 years after that. And, you know, in and out of detoxes, in and out of treatment, never like, you know, it had progressed so bad. I was like, I was blacklisted from multiple places because I would go in and I would cause a scene just to get kicked out, or just, I wasn't ready. And I was like so broken. And my mental state was like, if you lost your sister, you would be doing the same thing. If you know, you don't understand what it's like. Right. You don't understand. And so, you know, finally, I'd gone into so many treatment centers at that time. You know, I had a boyfriend who I was with for 3 years.
Right.
And so he passed away in August of 2020, and I got sober in December of 2020.
And been sober ever since.
And been sober ever since. And you can imagine, those 4 months between August and December, I was the worst I'd ever been in my life.
Right. And it's funny because you did a drug you never did before.
Yep.
It's funny that the depths that addiction takes us. But what I've realized this time around is the gift of desperation. I never had that. It was the gift of my father's money. It was the gift because they told me to. It was never of desperation. It was never, listen, I flipped my car. I should not be here under no circumstances. None. I said it was me that pulled myself out of the car. There were no airbags popped, every window. And I know it's God. And I know it definitely is my dad. but I find myself wanting to spread the word about recovery, like not on some but just to pass it on to one person. You give it to one person, you plant one seed, they might just not get high for the day, just for the day. And I think that's where I am in my life, is like, you know, you're one of the most important people in my circle. I took Jackie with me as my sober coach. I was booked for this event in Texas, and Jackie had a really kind of bad feeling about the dude, but Renee refused to listen, and he ended up being one of the Tinder swindlers. And she kept saying it, no, Renee, no. And but Jackie, he's good. But Jackie, he's good. And I'd be block that motherfucker because he's no good. And he ended up being nothing more than work from the devil. And I refer to him as it because it's a clown. So I have to program into my head. So I see the clown. And you saw it ahead of time because you had more sober time. And I was still very, I was just newly clean, and I wasn't clean. My ego wasn't clean. My pride wasn't clean. It was just, okay. Like, so I stopped snorting coke. That was it. You know what I mean? So you're not fully clean until you've worked it all. And I see it in you. And I'm so proud that you're at the treatment center and you're passing it on and you're paying it forward. And I love Sean. I'm so happy you work with him because he was amazing when we met back. I think we met back in 2018, Sean and I.
Mm-hmm. And it's true. God places people in your life at certain times. And you look beautiful, by the way. You're glowing.
Thank you.
You are like,
get my chin done.
You look amazing.
I feel it.
It's a direct result of working on the inside, because if everything's good on the outside, like everything's good on the inside.
Well, I'm not faking. I'm not faking. I walked in like, you don't talk about my father. You have no right to ever say anything mean about him. Fuck EMDR. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Who do you think you are? And then I talk about my dad. My father to me will always be the greatest father, but was he the greatest? He'll always be my greatest, but no, that's the truth of the matter. My father thought, I'll buy her a new car. It'll make her happy. He didn't realize that I love you. You're the most beautiful person on earth is more precious than the brand new Porsche. No, I'm not too sure about that. No, but that my dad, it was just like, let me pay you off. He didn't, because he didn't have anyone to teach him. So I'm not mad at him. I have no resentment to him. I think he's my God on earth. When it comes to my mother, I've come to the terms with, that's my mom. I have the greatest mother on earth. The woman would do anything and everything for me. And there's parts that you come to realization in recovery. And this is part of your healing, is when you can accept a person for who they are and you can leave them where they're at. You don't have to take them with you, but just leave them there and continue on with your journey. It doesn't mean you're better than, it doesn't mean they're less than, it just means that's where they're at. And not everybody can go where you gotta go. Because not what my sister Jennifer told me is every blessing from God is not for everyone else. It's your personal blessing. So I've noticed that on this journey, I've been able to, help women without rescuing them. Like, oh, Renee, I don't have any money for food. Okay, here's a gift card for $5. Or instead of me, oh, you want sushi tonight? Okay, we're going to Nobu. I've learned, oh, you need your hair dyed? Okay, I'm going to color it for you. I mean, and it's still me doing, but that's who I am. And I'm not going to change. I wouldn't change that for all the money in the world. But, My ultimate goal is to be the life coach that I'm, already certified, but be the life coach that you could walk into my room and be like, I fucking hate everybody. All right, just throw things around. Like, I don't want to be the life coach that gives you the direction. I want to be the life coach that lets you scream, yell, fuss, fight, and you walk out and you feel like, oh, I feel better. I couldn't tell my therapist that because she's going to analyze me. No, people have bad days. I want to tell half my roommates, go fuck yourself all day long. But I can't, because what I've learned is say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. Imagine me, who is constantly in conflict with every single person in the treatment center. And I haven't slept with anybody. Okay.
That's a good thing. That's amazing. That means there's change going on.
Yeah. It's like 6 weeks.
And that's what recovery is all about. That it's all about like relationships with other people and like learning how to have them, how to place boundaries, how to like learn through relationships, because like we're like codependent people.
Oh, yes, we are.
And addiction is such it's an attachment disorder. We like create attachments to people and to things
that are on
substances.
Healthy.
Right. And attachments in general are unhealthy. Like there's no healthy attachment,
unless he's got 25 million, a plane, an island. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. So please tell us where you are, where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you, and what is it that you can do for them and help them, please.
Yeah. So my Instagram and my Facebook is just my name. So it's Jacklyn Lewin, Jaclyn, Lewin, Lewin. You can find me on both. Recreate Behavioral Health Network. You can find us on Instagram. But if you are looking for help, or your loved one needs help, give me a call and you can call my cell phone.
You can reach out to me as well. You could DM me. I will direct you to Jacklyn myself. Yeah.
And we'll do our best to get you some help, or get your loved one help. I'm a big advocate for, that addiction is a family disease and that it affects everyone in the family. And if one is going through the recovery process, everyone has to go through it, and their own recovery process, because there's so much damage and trauma that goes on in active addiction that it affects every single person in your life directly.
Yes, it does.
So, reach out to me. I can, if we can't help you recreate, I will find a place that will accept you, whether that's insurance, no insurance, self-pay, reach out.
There's help for everyone that needs it. And again, if you can't reach Jackie, you can DM me at any time. I will give you all the information. Jackie, I will be visiting you as soon as my chin heals and I'm able
I would love that.
Yes, because I would love to see the facility and take some pictures and put it up with this interview as well. My love to Sean, and I won't be there for treatment, but I'm willing to sit in and learn as much as I can.
Yeah, come through. I can't wait to see you. I love you.
I love you more. God bless.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.